Oh yeah? Well, you're a bigger one.
Whoa!
I guess you could say that winning bites.
Who wrote the script anyways? When I get my hands on them... Oh my gosh! That's terrifying.
You're shooting a cactus.
The PS4 has been out for almost 2 years now, and although we're still all waiting for our Uncharted 4s, our Persona 5s, and our Kingdom Hearts 3s, there's still no denying that a solid lineup of games has slowly but surely found their way onto Sony's flagship console. Today, on Alternate Indie, we're taking a look at our current top 10 favorite games on the system. The rules are simple. First off, the game has to be on PlayStation 4, and rule number 2, it just can't be a remastering of an older game, so that rules out things like God of War 3 and Final Fantasy X. And please, remember everyone that this is just a list of our favorite games. If your opinion is different from ours, feel free to leave your own top 10 list to share in the comments section. Who knows? Maybe we'll find a game in there we haven't played yet. Everyone ready? Okay, let's begin! Coming in at number 10, we have Metal Gear Solid 5 Ground Zeroes. Say what you will about a sliver of Phantom Pain being chopped off and sold as a $40 demo, because I'm actually pretty sure that's what happened. But the reason this game dash demo is on the list is because that little sliver, that tiny itsy bitsy piece that was chopped off, is just so darn good. I've never played a Metal Gear game before, but if the other games are anything like this one, I'll be buying the others as soon as I can. The combat is precise and satisfying. The stealth is smartly implemented, and the world you're placed in is expansive and well built. Not to mention those graphics. Oh gosh, they're so pretty. Unfortunately though, this game is only at number 10, because no matter what you say, this is technically just a $40 demo. And a really short one at that. I got this game on PlayStation Plus, so I didn't have to pay as much, but for a game that took me exactly 102 minutes to beat, I would have been pretty mad spending that much money on, again, a demo. Hence, it should be free. Here's to hoping the full game is just as amazing, but much, much longer.
Plants vs. Zombies on the mobile was a brilliant little tower defense game that I still like to play when I'm bored. However, the idea of this mobile strategy game being turned into a third-person shooter sort of made me sick. Surprisingly though, Plants vs. Zombies Garden Warfare ended up being a very bright and very fun shooter that shakes up the standard shooting formula. How is the formula shaken up, you ask? Well, for one, instead of a generic gun dude who's running around shooting and then you have to shoot him back, you're shooting a cactus. Let that sink in. A cactus. If I had to compare it to another game, the first one that pops in my mind is Team Fortress 2. It's colorful, class-based, third-person shooter that places the sense of style above gore and violence. It's cheap and it's fun to play with your friends. Hey, check it out. It's getting a sequel. Consumerism! For the first couple months after its release, there were no big AAA games released for PS4. This was a great frustration for everyone because they just spent $400 on something they could only watch Netflix on. Because of this big lack of games, this also gave a chance though for all these indie games to come out onto the front lines, where people were starting to pick up on them. One of the most popular of those indie games was Resogun. I'm not typically a big fan of arcade shooter games, but this one was just so enjoyable. You're a spaceship, you shoot stuff, and you try to survive as long as you can and rack up the highest score. It's good, pure gaming fun. Not to mention, it looks absolutely gorgeous with all those particle effects on the screen. It's not really a deep game by any stretch, and I had my fill of it about after a week. But not all games need to have a huge sweeping narrative, and most important thing is the game was fun. And Resogun succeeded at doing that. Released by the people who made Dead Island back in the last console generation, Dying Light takes the joy of killing zombies and then serves it with a generous portion of parkour. This helped give us what we needed to have a new angle on the apocalypse. With a day and night cycle that affects the aggressiveness of the zombie types, a weapon crafting, and even a co-op campaign mode, having your friends and family turn into flesh-hungry abominations has never been this much fun. What? Am I allowed to say that? Oh yeah, it's my list, man. I do what I want. Oh yeah? Well, you're a bigger one. Oh, I forgot to turn. Next one.
Now, this one may come as a bit of a surprise. I'm always ready for a rousing game of Guitar Hero or Rock Band, but at the end of the day, what have you done with your life? You've learned to play a song, sure, but it's on a piece of colored plastic. That's just not impressive. I just wish there was some game out there that would actually teach you how to play guitar. Hey, looky there, Rocksmith. Or, more specifically, Rocksmith 2014 is a game that does let you play a real guitar. So, therefore, you're actually learning something from video games. Whoa! Now, this game might not actually deserve to be on the list, since even though you are learning to play guitar, it's not really fun in the typical sense of the word, but it does teach you skills that you can use in real life. And hey, if you end up making money from your new awesome guitar skills, then I would say being rich is pretty fun. I loved playing Battlefield 3 back on my Xbox 360, but there was always a troubling thought in the back of my head. Gee, said younger me, it sure is fun shooting at 12-year-olds in this 24-person multiplayer match. But somewhere in the world, all those other 12-year-olds with their fancy computers and graphics cards are playing the same game, but with, wait for it, 64 players! And at the same time. As a kid, this thought completely blew my mind, and actually detracted from my enjoyment of the game. The idea that I had been sold an inferior version of the same game upset me, and being in high school, I couldn't afford a powerful gaming rig to run the game. Now, however, I'm in college, and I'm still broke. But hey, at least I got a PS4, and that lets you do the same thing. Yay! Battlefield 4, in all its 64-player goodness, is a thinking man's shooter. Unless you compare it to Counter-Strike or Arma, then it's pretty much Call of Duty. You form up in squads of up to 5 people, and you coordinate your plan of attack. Do you have 2 members go recon while they cover the rest of your squad? Or do you create a team of engineers to take out all the land and air vehicles that are rushing your objective? Yes, sir! It sure is fun playing games with your friends. Too bad I don't have any.
What about me?
You don't count.
Some games have sweeping narratives that touch upon the meaning of life and our very existence. Some have awe-inspiring graphics that blur the line between fiction and reality. And some games let you throw swords at other people's faces. Yes, sir, Nidhogg is a quick, fun party game right down to the core. You and a friend have to try to kill each other with one-on-one sword combat, and the winner gets to sacrifice themselves to the mighty worm god, Nidhogg. I guess you could say that winning bites.
Wow, that was a really bad joke. Gosh, who wrote the script anyways? When I get my hands on them... Oh, wait a second. I wrote it. Carry on. Nothing to see here. Bye.
Although very simple on the surface, the multiple stances you can use with your sword and the unique one-off rules for each level help make this game unique from start to finish. Make sure, however, you play with friends on this one, because honestly, stabbing a computer is just not as fun as stabbing your friend. It seems that Shovel Knight, it is now on almost every single gaming device, and PS4 is no exception. Combining game design from the NES era and mixing it with modern production values and the design choices of hyper-advanced 21st century, Shovel Knight is a true modern classic. Now, I admit that when I first watched the trailer, at the very beginning, all I could think about was the Universal Globe spinning around and around. But even though I was stuck on that for a little bit, the game caught my attention for many different reasons. Maybe it was because the idea was so interesting to give a knight a shovel of all the weapons you could give him. Maybe it was because one of the different scenes reminded me of my favorite childhood games like Mario and Zelda. Or maybe it was the guy reminding me a little bit of a particular Dark Souls character.
Praise the sun. Yeah. Ugh.
I don't know what it is, but I'm ready to go hit some people with a shovel just from playing this game.
I have a confession to make. I just typically can't play horror games. The Evil Within? Never touched it. Amnesia: The Dark Descent? Psh, not on your life. I've got a very vivid imagination, so I think that every single shadow or scary noise in a game is a monster that's just trying to eat my face. But then again, being a video game, almost every single shadow or scary noise that's there is in fact a monster that's trying to eat my face. Food for thought, food for thought. It actually got so bad at one point that I wouldn't even play Dead Space 2 until I watched an entire playthrough of the game online. But then, I heard about Alien Isolation. And I knew this had to be the time when I finally conquered my fears and faced the monsters in my mind. So I steeled myself, gave the GameStop employee my dead presidents, and then prepared to face my fears. I mean, it's just an alien, right? What's the worst? Oh my gosh! That's terrifying! So, Alien Isolation is basically the literal definition of terrifying. And besides scaring your pants off, it's actually really fun to play. I would recommend that if you enjoy scaring yourself, or you're a fan of the original Alien movie, you pick it. Oh my gosh! Bloodborne. Or as I like to call it, the reason you should stop watching this video and go buy a PS4. This is single-handedly my favorite game on the system, and it's in the running for one of my favorite games of all time. But that's for another top 10 list. Hint hint, subtle wink, hint hint, foreshadowing, wink wink. I have played and loved both Dark Souls 1 and 2, and when I heard that From Software was making another game in the vein of the Souls series, I was incredibly excited. The storyline is inspired by Lovecraft in the very best ways, and the spooky story is perfectly complemented with the ferocious and bloody combat. Getting into too much detail would spoil the game, so I'll just leave it at this. The game is amazing. Give these people your money. All of it. Or at least $60 of it, you know? All shameless marketing ploys aside, this really is, in my opinion, the best game you can have on the PS4. And that is our list.